Taurus. So really interesting. As I go through the zodiac, it seems like there are definite themes in certain patches and signs that are close to each other, which is makes sense. But for you, it's all about faith. And Aries, it was similar, but it played out differently. I think that there is definitely a change and a shift that's going on in you. And it's a shift that's led by or inspired by a higher calling. It wasn't something that you planned on. It wasn't something that you even thought to want. This is honestly almost like being tapped by the universe to act upon something. For you, it's a humbling feeling. And in some ways, you can be a little bit worried or frightened because in the mind of a Taurus, continuity is very important. And when that shifts, it almost feels like the whole world is coming down on you. Because continuity is who you are. It's holding up the value systems and the traditions and the bedrock, so that everybody else can basically function well. There's so much that you hold on to inside of yourself. So good at retaining or containing your own emotions to make decisions for the greater good. People on the outside of you, like being inspired to do things for the higher purpose, the higher goal, the upkeep of the tradition itself, as opposed to just even what it means to you. But it can come at great expense, can it? Because ultimately there is a sense of division here, of feeling a little bit like split and divided. Like, am I even a good person if I think more of myself than everybody else? And remember, you've been hanging with Uranus this whole time. So for this whole year and for, I think since maybe August or something, Uranus has been in retrograde, and it will be in retrograde until January. So that makes like the crowd very needy. Let's put it that way. Very demanding, and also a mindset very focused on, but is this okay for everybody? Because if it isn't okay for everybody, then it isn't okay at all. And it could be very extreme types of thoughts. So you've been just sort of kind of wanting, it's almost like taking on a lot of responsibility to yourself, feeling like you can heal everything and you can make everything better, and somehow the solution lies with you. And in some cases it does, but ultimately there's this sense of, what can I do to make the world better? What can I do to make my situation better? What can I do, and what can I take on upon my shoulders, even if it sort of like keeps me from doing something that I really love? And there's the conflict of interest, because it's almost like now you've discovered what it is that you really want to do. And maybe what you've been doing, you're not taking as seriously as you once took it, because the passions just aren't where they used to be. There has been this like soul shift in you, because you're realizing yourself as something more than you ever imagined you could be. And it's coming through the crowd. It's coming through people recognizing something in you. And it's through their realization. It's through their faith in you. It's through their investment in you, that you're actually kind of realizing. Sorry. Kisses, are you okay? My dog's acting kind of weird. It's through their kind of what they see in you, that you're starting to see something more in yourself, and realizing maybe your responsibility to a circumstance in a different way. It's like the crowd is inciting you to behave differently. And in some ways, you're almost trapped by it. But you're not afraid of the being trapped. You're not afraid of the obligations. It's almost like you're more concerned with not living up to the expectations, or you're more afraid of not being able to do anything about it, right? Hold on a second. And I mean, there's a little bit of a caveat there. It's like from somebody who is like sort of objectively looking at this situation, a sense of, don't allow that to go too far, because you don't want to get wrapped up in other people's expectations of you and let them veer you from something that you really care about. But also there is, hold on. I apologize for that, Taurus. My dog was acting crazy. But there's this wonderful sense of faith that you're having right now. A sense of, you know what? I need to just listen to the calling that's happening around me, and I need to like respond to it just by having faith. This deep sense of this is happening for a reason. There's no one, like, just an acceptance of your position right now and your responsibility to that position. A feeling of tremendous responsibility, but also a tremendous amount of faith in the current situation. You've got your eye on something. You've spied something or see something that you want, or somebody has spied you and sees you and wants you desperately, because this is like the covetous card. I call it the Professor Slughorn card. He likes to collect things, this little guy. He sees them, he peeks at them, and then he's like, I want that. And you have multiple, it's a repetitious pattern in the cards that I've pulled for you so far, that somebody has sort of spotted you and wants you, but ultimately it's a sense of almost like you're forbidden to them, or you might not necessarily even be kind of caught up in realizing that they want you so bad. But there is definitely a desire here going on. Now, yes, 100% you could flip these energies of really desiring or wanting someone. I think it's someone or something very badly, seeing what you want, but in some ways being held back by the crowd. Feeling like the crowd expectations of you, whatever that crowd is, it could be family, it could be community, it could be just your sense of loyalty or duty or obligation. There's something that's holding you back from something that you actually really, really want. And it's got to, yeah. I mean, this is a deep, deep desire. Hold on. Now, ultimately, there's a tremendous sense of strength that is coming from you right now. That is, honestly, I got to say one word: impressive. There is this beautiful sense of understanding that what it is that you want is not the most important thing, having sort of larger goals or a larger scope in mind. But it feels like it's a larger scope, a call coming from the community. It's honestly a sense of you're doing it because you need to, because you are needed. But there's something else going on here too, because there's just like, it's almost like plot, subplot. That's all I can really describe it to you as. The plot, as it thickens, is not only being called to this higher purpose, but it's like realizing that you have to work with others or through others or for others in order to kind of conduct yourself, or that you're sort of obligated to others, and the only way you're going to get something done is through working with the crowd or with your family, or basically, I just feel like there's a large group that's at play here. But they've definitely sussed you out or picked you out. Somebody is looking at you in extremely, in a lot of admiration, a lot of desire. And there's this wonderful sense, but there's this wonderful sense of like the bigger picture happening, right? But then there's also this sense of a smaller picture happening, a much more intimate picture. Desire and somebody caring about you, wanting you, noticing you, not being able to take their eyes off of you. And then simultaneously, there's just this sense of like, like it coming through the grapevine, or it coming through through your group of friends or your network. But this person in some ways, or you, may already be tied up or bound to somebody else. And there's just this sense in you of, I've just got to have faith that this is all going to sort of balance out. So this could, both of the things could be going on, or it could be one or the other going on. But ultimately, Taurus, there is a pull and at the very least, a discomfort in you right now, because it's like, why can't I just be free to be me? Like, I don't understand why it's so complicated. Like, do I ever get a choice to not be accumulative? Can I just be me? And I honestly can tell you at this point, I feel like you just feel so selfish. If you did, I wouldn't think you were selfish, but there would be an unrest in your soul if you didn't answer the call, or live up to, not necessarily live up to the expectations, but like answer the call. That's what I keep hearing. Answer the call. But there is definitely this beautiful energy of being desired and wanting somebody, or somebody desperately wanting you. And it's almost like your goals and your aspirations have changed, and there could be a real heavy, kind of like heavy heart in telling somebody that, or expressing the news to them. No, this doesn't mean breakup or anything. You take it and apply the energies however it fits into your life. But ultimately, Taurus, there's just this sense of, you don't want to disappoint people, but ultimately something that used to matter to you doesn't matter to you anymore. Or not that it doesn't matter to you, because the obligation to other people and not letting down other people still very much matters to you. But what doesn't matter to you is the goal isn't what you want anymore. It's like, this is a metaphor. You go to college, you do pre-law, you think, okay, I want to be a lawyer. And then something happens during your schooling that completely makes you shift. And you're like, I'm a poet. I'm an artist. I can't be confined to what I wanted to be because everybody was so proud of me for wanting to be it. That's that energy. And I'm not saying that all of you are 19-year-old college students. I'm saying that that's the energy. It's a metaphor for the energy of you really feel bound by the expectations of others, by how others see you and how they were really happy for you, they admired you, or they were proud of you, not wanting to let other people down and feeling bound by the crowd and the crowd's desire for you. Such a pull and such a gravity happening there that you have almost you're becoming very unsettled with the circumstance or the situation, because of the divide between like what you want and what you're being called to, not even knowing if what you're being called to is something that will work out for you or that you'll be good at, but ultimately you feel called to it and you have to explore it. And on the other side, it's almost like the crowds are calling you to it. So for some of you, it's bondage from where you were. And for others of you, it's like bondage to where you're going. Either way, you're bound by this sort of crowd perspective, or we're being concerned about what's best for everybody. Ultimately, that's the major energy happening here. And you're just kind of like, I got to have faith in where my heart is taking me. And ultimately, that will lead you to your highest purpose. This sense of what feels right and what is an even give and take, or an even exchange. And this tells me that there's something to do with partnership and love, which means it could be very chaotic right now for you with partnership, because it's like figuring out or deciding or like deciding who you want to be with, who you really trust, or if this person will be happy with the changes that you're making to your life, something like that. Let me go on to the spirit guide messages. Let's see if we can get some clarification. Taurus, 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 Taurus. Wow, lots coming out. Okay, and it's interesting because it's really it's not even, but a lot of it has to do with the future. Okay, so now we have time for a deep dive. So this was definitely passion and romance, something that you were passionate about, and it's also Libran energy, a sense of a beautiful romance, a sense of beauty, a sense of okay, think about this. The swan is something that grows. It's like becoming something beautiful. This, in other words, Taurus, you didn't start out as this beautiful or seen as this prosperous at first. You came from a very ugly place. And now it's like, now that you have all these people like liking you and want or desiring you, or you feel proud of yourself and you feel beautiful, there is this pull toward the obligation of what's making you feel beautiful. That's kind of better. Think on your feet. Sagittarius energy. These are repeating patterns here. Libra and Sagittarius, Libra and Sagittarius. This tells me the timeline. So something's been happening Libra through Sagittarius season that's sort of been kind of making you be pulled in two opposite directions. Think on your feet means you've had to improvise a lot. And there have been a lot of sudden, quick changes that have come into your life that you've actually had to deal with. You just haven't had any choice. And then we have truth transcends illusion, Aquarius energy, which is what? Uranus. Because Uranus has been with you this whole year, and that's the center energy that it's almost like a heightened sense of what everybody needs and what everybody wants and what's the best thing for everybody. That's what you're dealing with right now, this heightened sense of the big picture. And it's pressing on you so much because in some ways it conflicts with what you personally desire. But ultimately, you're more inclined to go toward the bigger, I'm so cold right now, I'm sorry. You're more inclined to favor the bigger picture. Truth transcending illusion, also blossoming and changing. It's almost like in some ways your relationship with the truth could have changed. It's you seeing things from a perspective that you didn't have insight into before. And something is becoming clear as you change. It's like your eyes are changing and they can see different things or see things in a different way. And now we have know your worth. This is moving into the future. So basically owning everything about who you are, including your imperfections. This is your way through. So this is sort of how to deal with this energy. And yes, there's always an extended reading. So that will articulate and give you details through tarot. And it also includes your romance reading. So that link is below, FYI. But here we have this sense of finding who you are, finding your purpose, and finding out that you can be imperfect and you can be beautiful at the same time. That even if you let some people down, that's not the worst thing in the world. Be at peace. So this is more Libran energy. I don't know if you're dealing with a Libra or dealing with a relationship, a romance, a love that's come to you, realizing that you deserve it, deserve to be loved. But also remember, Libra is equal love, right? There's a sense of balancing. You deserve for somebody to treat you as you treat them, and you deserve for them to be contributing just as much, Taurus. So be very, very aware of that and stand your ground with that. There are sacrifices that need to be made, but your self-worth is not one of those sacrifices. Some things have got to be on the must-have list. You understand? And then we have, open up to infinite possibilities, more Aquarian energy, but it's also you shining, you getting a lot of attention, public eye being on you, people spotting you, people recognizing you. This is your time to shine. And it's also fate. It's also destiny. Think about like the star and the sun. You have the courage for this. You have the aptitude for this. You haven't been tapped for a random reason. It's been put into Taurus for a reason. This is the sun shining on you or the star shining on you. This is, it's your time to shine. So trust in yourself and trust in your own self-worth. Give with gratitude and grace. You are sort of on the chopping block here. This is you being asked to make sacrifices for the greater good. This is the heart of philanthropy. Anytime Turkey shows up in your life, it's about providing and giving to others. It's that sense of just doing what's right for everybody. What is this? It feels really big. And in your world, it will be very big. I don't know if it's world stage, but in your world, it will feel very big. Take a leap of faith and listen to your conscience. When this card comes out, it's not just take a leap of faith. It's your conscience is already speaking to you. It's already telling you what the right decision is to make. And so ultimately, Taurus, you're kind of like, you kind of know what you have to do. That's what it's saying. Even if you're sort of arguing, sing your own song. Trust in yourself. Trust in what feels good to you. Trust in what's right for you. Trust in... And ultimately, it seems like what you want is to change yourself and shift yourself. You might be disappointing your parents or your family or your old friends, but you're shifting to a greater purpose, a bigger purpose, to please and make everybody as in a larger group, happier. That kind of energy. And then trust in the magic. So this is 100% a new beginning. Something just being born. It's like you're just waking up to this truth and this purpose of yours. And ultimately, it also could be a timestamp saying this hasn't completely happened yet, but it will be happening. It will be happening. And I would say by the end of December, when Saturn and Jupiter go into, Saturn and Jupiter are heading into Aquarius, I think the 15th and the 17th respectively. Yeah, something like that. I may have had my dates mixed up, but around that time, this is a whole new dawning. It's a whole new age. And because of where Uranus is placed, Uranus rules Aquarius energy, but Uranus is in Taurus right now, and it's been there for the whole year. So there is a sense of that sort of reflecting back on you and impacting back on you and finding that purpose and questioning your old beliefs and changing them based on what's better for the greater good. If that makes any sense at all. We're going to clarify with tarot. That link is below. Feel free to hop on over there right now, Taurus. But stick around first, please, for the angel messages, because they're just so beautiful. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. Help Born Without Boundaries grow. And then click that bell, ring it, and when you ring that bell, you'll get notified of all the content I upload, especially the Taurus specific video that I upload every single week. And there's plenty of them for you to comb through. If a title calls out to you, I do them weekly. The new one comes out every week, but they are not time sensitive. So just whatever calls to you, enjoy it. Also, I do a daily tarot card reading. I'm taking a break this week for personal reasons, but usually Monday through Friday I do a live tarot card reading over on Vimeo. Over on Instagram. So you can find me there at born_without_boundaries. And then you can join in every day. It's just a general tarot card reading and us sort of like supporting each other. And then last but not least, you can please do hop on over to the extended, which includes a donation to the channel, but ultimately you can subscribe over there as well. And then you can get, notified a day earlier than the link on YouTube comes out. You can have access to them as soon as they go live. Adventure. Okay. Instead of seeing the current situation as an obstacle, which it can because there's a heaviness to it, try seeing it as an adventure. Explore all the possibilities. There are many more than you currently imagine. Instead of seeing things as either black or white, try to explore all the colors in between. So this is really broadening and expanding your mind. Positive outcome. The sun is about to burst through the clouds and you will soon see things in a different light. Something that previously seemed hopeless will soon be filled with nothing but hope. This is good stuff. Achievement. Take a little time to reflect on what you have achieved to date so you don't feel so unworthy, right? Because you've earned this crowd behind you. It is often easy to forget where you started from and how far you've come. honor and be grateful for this extraordinary journey that is your life. And sometimes just honoring your roots and where you come from helps to actually give you strength when you need to make changes. And then kindness. A kind gesture rekindles your belief in the power of love. Remember to be kind to yourself by accepting that love. And last but not least, Taurus, think global. I knew this was big. You are being encouraged to spread your wings. Think outside the square. You are a citizen of the world. Expand your vision. Imagine the world within your heart. Embrace it. Surround it with love. Let it be, and so it'll be. And if that's too cryptic for you, come on over to the extended, because I will articulate everything for you with tarot. I'll see you guys. The link is below. I'll see you guys over there. The link is below.